Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. First item is the approval of the agenda. Make that motion.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Approval of the minutes of December 27th, 2023. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of the manifest for water assessment, $3,941.79. Make that motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
I'd like to point out, CMA Engineering charged
$2,000.
$21.61,
Right.
and all I know they did was come to that presentation of,
Well, I'm not sure what they did other than that, but I'm sure it was something more substantial than that.
you saw the hours? It's
Yes.
5 hours by the principal, 4 hours by the second engineer, and $90 for travel. All they did was come here.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, in terms of, did you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. The operating account, total disbursement, total checks, $30,795.49. Make that motion to approve that?
Second.
Yes.
Hold on a second. So we're paying $10,500 to the auditors for last year's, for 2022's audit in this manifest. And $3,971 to Eversource
Yes.
for water system of general government. And we're paying an annual fee to be part of an alcohol and drug program that's testing.
Yeah, the 125 keeps us in the pool that they pull from.
For random testing.
Yep. Which is required by DOT.
And Coleman rental was $18.84 for leaf blowers and fuel.
And culverts for 13 deuces.
Yes, I saw an 18-inch culvert.
Yeah, there were 2 of them.
So I say yes to paying this manifest.
DPW, Kelly, what's the latest on him?
He is out for the rest of the week.
Okay.
He did give me an update, so I can report for him regarding the sinkhole in Grisson. The sheriff's called him Saturday to report that there is a sinkhole in Grisson by the culvert. He reported to Grisson on Saturday, closed the road, and his recommendation is that the road stays closed until there's a more permanent repair that can be done to ensure the safety of the public and the DPW. You know, plowing, big trucks going over it, bad things can happen. So they went up and he had just taped it off Saturday, but Jeff and Tony went up yesterday and put barricades. The sheriffs know, Michael and I talked about it, he knows, so all the appropriate people know that there is an issue.
Did you look at it?
No, I haven't.
It looks like the original culvert way down at the bottom failed in the middle and has been dropping earth into it and carrying it away with the water. And I imagine that it's now formed a hole that's funnel shaped, which makes it bigger than the hole that's at the bottom, and will continue to do that. The engineer that has the most familiarity with that whole system is the engineer from DuBois and King.
Right.
And I'm going to make a motion that we ask Nick schedule to look at that and make a recommendation as to whether a metal plate can be big enough to get us through the winter, or however long it takes for us to come up with a solution, or what he thinks we can do to
I'll second that.
make that safer.
All right.
Let me just make sure I understand you correctly. To make sure, to see if a metal plate will be safe enough to
In the
put,
past, we've rented large metal plates, thick
Okay.
metal plates that go over open holes in roads. And the thing I'm not sure of is whether an engineer would say that a metal plate would work in this situation, not knowing exactly.
Oh, your motion is really for Nick to evaluate
Yes.
the
Yeah.
situation.
I think we should have an
And,
engineer look at it.
and we don't need to deal with the metal plate or whatever, we just say,
Right.
look, come with a recommendation. So I'll second that motion,
Did we vote yet?
No.
I would say yes.
yes.
okay.
All right. Administration,
That's Eversource.
Eversource.
Excuse me, can I just ask a question on the closure of Griston as the sheriff's department to notify?
Yes, I
Okay,
said that.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. I don't observe any real issue with the monthly breakdown report. November and December are
I have no
somewhat,
idea what we're talking about here. I just heard Eversource. What do you have in your hand now?
The Eversource report that was in the package that I
Okay.
emailed you.
Good to know.
okay, so it appears that November and December were higher than the prior several months, but that's not unusual because of the holiday season. So I don't think there's any, and there's a comparative by location on the second page.
And we did discover Youngfrau had a heat problem
Right,
that wasn't fixed until the end of November.
right. So, but there is higher usage in November and December than the norm for the rest of the year, except for January and February, which are vacation time periods as well, so everything else is somewhat lower.
I didn't have time to compare that to daily usage to see if usage actually affected it. I will.
Our usage is pretty much the same in December as it was in November. There was a spike during Christmas, just as there was during Thanksgiving, and our daily numbers are average about the same.
Okay, the electric usage by location. November and December are higher than, except for January, February timeframe. Pretty consistent. Rhinebeck is high in December. Jungfrau is in line with November. So there isn't any unusual issues here as far as reports. Electricity cost, $42,844 for the year versus the year before, $36,373. It's a reflection of, obviously, the rates. So if you look at the usage, 2023 was lower in terms of electricity usage than 2022. So it's a function of the cost issue.
You saw my report a few weeks ago about Eversource applying for a rate reduction to
Right. Yes.
like
So,
8.5 cents, which is lower than the broker contract that we have, and it's even lower than the current price that the coalition.
mhm. Which is all good news. All right, so that's that. Eversource water usage report. Okay, as far as the log, the usual suspect is the end of the year as far as usage. Other than that, it's Christmas, and the week after Christmas is the high point of the usage. So there isn't anything significant there, there's no news.
And you will see that Muddy Beach is back open now that Thusis is complete. So those started being tracked on the 21st of December.
Okay, as far as the monthly budget, good news in terms of the performance, in terms of, at least at this particular point in time, we have a situation where both water and operations are favorable in terms of a positive balance. I think what's happened in the operations is that we had lower expenditures in November, and we had limited amount of overtime in December, which put us into a positive position with respect to the budget. So, although it's positive, we do have outstanding checks that we have not received. So there is a situation where we may see
Checks or invoices?
invoices and checks, you're right. So it's both items. But we have not received, let's say, for salt, we haven't received a bill, a payment for
What
that.
checks are we expecting?
We haven't received the check for salt, which is gonna be, I'm guessing, about $1,800.
First, from who?
From the mineral salt.
They're giving us a check for what reason?
Invoice.
No, they're gonna give us an invoice. That,
Invoice.
yeah, we haven't paid that yet. That's
I
one that's,
said, what checks are we expecting?
oh, excuse me, I thought, we're not expecting any check. Well, no, we're not expecting any checks, are we?
It's probably bills that, you know, but given the fact that we have a positive balance, I think we're in good shape. Same thing with water in terms of the fact that we have almost $16,000 positive balance. So looks like we're going to be in good shape for both operations and water.
Last week, we voted to get a QuickBooks generic report, profit and loss, balance sheet statement, and a detailed one. When should we expect to get that? You mentioned that January needs to have all its swaps done against the end of the year, but I'd like to see the picture right now. Can
Okay,
we get that this week?
by the end of the week, yeah.
Great, thank you.
And did you,
That's two, right? The
it'll be-
detailed one doesn't work without having the other one. that
That's
shows
correct.
the
So
accounts.
this is as of yesterday. So the one in the monthly budget are numbers as of yesterday. So I'll do the detail report and they'll match.
This is a cash flow statement, right? That's
Uh,
what this report is.
Paid, the last 3 pages of the PDF are the budget versus actual, you know.
So if we could get a detailed
Detailed.
one, this is already the one I would want for,
Yep,
then it would match closer to
Yep.
this, so if it could happen before the end of the week, before we start writing checks again.
yep.
Great.
Did you want to meet about working on the budget with me?
I do want to come down and continue to work on the files that we have on water system data. We just got as far as the Excel spreadsheet with the valves,
Yep,
and there's a whole lot of other files I'd like to see.
Sure.
So I will be coming if there's things, what budget are you talking about?
both the water budget and the operating budget?
Aren't they going to be discussed publicly?
Yes, but don't the commissioners have to rough in some numbers for the public based on our expenses from this year?
Well, It's always been done publicly. You seem to be doing it with the employees, and you have something to show publicly?
Plan is next week.
Transparency is an issue here, right?
Don't understand that.
No. I've printed the blank, so I'm working on getting numbers based on this year's numbers. Now that we're getting towards the, you know, all the expenses are in. And I didn't know if you wanted to work with me on that. We obviously can't all work together because that would be a meeting.
And I just said that traditionally we did it at meetings so you could hear the reasoning behind the numbers. There's a reason
So
for
you want
transparency.
to, so for the budget hearing, you want me to come with no numbers in the spreadsheet?
I think you're unfamiliar with it. You're not hearing what I'm saying is that this happens at meetings before the budget hearing.
Of
Here.
course, well,
Yeah, we're gonna work on it next week too, but I didn't know if you
It
wanted to
is-
have a
it-
conversation prior to next week so that we could be prepared.
Again, I'm saying that conversation needs to be public.
Okay.
of course. The intent is to go over positions based on analysis. And there are certain items which are, let's call it, known. We know what the pension liability is. We know what insurance issues and things of that nature. And we know, as a result, what the rates are, so we've done calculations to determine what the actual dollar value is. Now, walking through that in the public domain would create a tremendous amount of sleepiness. I think they would be bored out of their minds in terms of that kind of thing. So it's a matter of coming up with facts about, or an actual number based upon calculations. So we will describe what the calculations are, and you will have complete ability to understand the budget.
I don't know what that whole speech was about.
Ralph, even last year, the three of us, myself, yourself, and Mike, we always did it in public session. As sleepy as people may have come, if they were watching it, it was always done in public so that the people that wanted the transparency could see those questions, as you just mentioned, that were being asked, the calculations, and how each one of the three of us would understand or object to that calculation.
You can walk through the numbers, and you can ask any question you want. I thought it was efficient to come up with a proposed set of numbers that we could discuss, and to have the discussion.
And you have that. You've done
We're-
that.
No,
Haven't completed.
It's not completed.
It's not complete. However, it will cover the basis for all the numbers. And my recollection is that we did some of that work before the meeting, before the discussion.
Not when I was a commissioner.
Okay. Asset management proposal. So this is the proposal for the mapping system, the water system map, penalties. And they're looking for an agreement. And the dollar amount is $37,300. I'll make a motion, we approve this.
I'm not seconding that.
Okay. All right. It goes away. Signature, Commissioner's report, Mr. Graffin.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm good as well. Public comments on non-agenda items. Go ahead. Yes?
I'm sorry. So I heard a lot here this morning. I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. So in the water manifest that you approved this morning, did that include any of the recent water hookups that were done? Any invoices for that?
Yes. No, that was, can I see it, please?
Which one you want?
Water manifest. The water manifest was, three of the hookups were in last 2 weeks
None
ago.
to Simply Water, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't say anything.
all right.
Say that again?
He was looking to see if Simply Water had any invoices to us.
No.
On water hookups.
No.
And
I paid two weeks ago, a bill to Richard L. Heath and Sons and GTB for hookups at Eidelweiss and 2 on Hotwell.
And just a quick question, in paying those invoices, did we receive those curb stops that were installed?
That's correct?
Did we receive the curb stop data, information on the data?
Not as
sheet?
of today.
Okay, so it's not your situation at all, but just so you know, we have an agreement with Ian that when curb stop installations are done, that he needs to provide us with the curb stop
He will.
installation GPS before he gets paid. That's his agreement.
I haven't paid him.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
So that's great. Okay, so I just want to let you know, because how this information gets passed forward, because it's not in this contract, you know, it's all about.
And I think, based on Ian's conversation with us a couple weeks ago, if you have direct questions for him, he would like them up front
Yes.
before the meeting,
Yeah,
so that when he comes, he's prepared.
that's true too.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you were here that day when he had requested that.
No. And I'm not gonna speak too much on the Grissom culvert, the sinkhole, but one of the things I was just thinking about is, you made your motion, approved it. I know from my position as a commissioner that the metal culvert underneath Grissom was in failure mode. We knew that the rivets that hold those plates together were made of steel. Steel rusts, they're gone, and possibly, I think it was described 2 years ago, those plates are peeling away on that culvert. So I'm not surprised that there's now a sinkhole opening up. My concern is that, and I'm not gonna get into the engineering, but whatever engineering remedy there might be for this winter, whether it be a metal plate or whatever, that bottom culvert is probably now more so blocked either from gravel or the plates peeling in and closing it off even further, thus leaving just the one upper culvert functioning.
And 2 weeks ago, I believe Kelly reported that,
Okay.
that the bottom culvert is clogged,
Okay.
and only the top culvert is
Okay. So
somewhat working.
That's great data, because my fear now is that with the rains that we had was a few weeks ago, that heavy rain in early December, I believe it was, if we get another one of those with snow melt, you will probably, because now you only have one culvert, over top the road.
And Kelly was there during that rain and making sure that it didn't top the road, because
Right.
that was his number one concern.
Yep.
So,
So maybe that information, well, the engineers can figure that out. I also wanted to question, I know there was talk about the John Deere backhoe and that it needed to have wheel spacers
Yep.
put on.
Yep,
Was that actually approved and done?
it was.
Okay.
Yep.
And so my question is, since that's the leased vehicle, did we just now nullify the warranty by modifying the vehicle?
You'd have to wait for Kelly to be present to answer that question.
Okay.
However, he did talk with John Deere and they had a product to do it.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
I'm assuming it doesn't breach the warranty as a result of them indicating that there was a product available.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. And I just heard at this meeting this morning that we rented a leaf blower. Is our leaf blower still non-functional?
I don't know.
You'll have to wait for Kelly.
Okay.
Those are DPW questions.
And thank you for allowing me my comments and questions. I'm all set. Thank you.
There may be an issue with our vote to extend digging to the date of January 4th.
January 5th.
If it's the 3rd, I think.
Yep, and I talked to Ian yesterday when he came to see me, and I told him that I would make a motion to extend that Dawson is coming back today, yesterday and today. Hopefully, they're hopeful to be done by Friday, but,
Okay.
so, if you'd like to extend it, I need a motion.
I thought we did,
We did just till the 5th, which is Friday.
right?
So if they want to come back next
We're
week,
supposed
they'll
to
have
fix
to
2
wait.
leaks and repipe
Okay, all
Lakeview's
right, so
PRV.
it's the 12th. Make a motion to extend the excavation or time period to January 12th.
Second,
Yes.
yes. Do we know if he's done doing hookups?
He did not have that answer when I asked him yesterday.
Yes.
I don't believe,
He being Dawson?
no, Ian. Dawson's was closed the week of Christmas, so they're just coming back to work this week.
I think he's got an excavator still working at a house lot on Hopewell.
That's correct, but that's,
That could be
yeah, that's not
a
through us.
separate project.
Yeah, 14 Geneva is in the process, well, now it's 40 something Middle Shore is their new address. That is in the process, and 57 Eidelweiss is not done yet, that I do know. But they will all be done.
And a leak on Upper Lakeview and a leak on Porridge Shore and repiping Lakeview's PRV. It's a lot.
It's all on the list.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a record?
No.
No, it's not.
Not even close to last week's.
I'm sorry, I slowed you down.